Welcome into Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratanudo at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as Twitter. You can find me there, the show there on Instagram Live, on IG Live as well, and on YouTube. You know, Pitchfork Lunchers, it is that time of day. Yes, Forks Up on YouTube. Go to YouTube. Go to my channel at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC 005 on YouTube, and subscribe. There are a ton of interviews up there. The shows are up there. This is the 76th edition of Pitchfork Lunch. Again, as we just got started this past fall. So, yeah, you need to go there, check it out. And any interviews you missed, any shows you missed, it's all there. So subscribe to the channel, watch them, share them, like them, all that good stuff. Do it on my YouTube at, again, M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC 005 on YouTube. And again, you will see all Pitchfork Lunch shows, but interviews you missed. Again, a lot of very good ones. I'm just saying. And yeah, of course, bias. No, not everything's rainbow and unicorns, and we'll get to some of that. But again, you can meet coaches, be up to date on, and again, I tell you, to be diving into everything. No, but with recruiting, a lead on guy, friends. We got Chris Cartman on the show. Devils Insider Look. This is today. Little Sun Devils right here. Got to have it on the Pitchfork Lunch. So inevitably had to watch that team from down south twice yesterday. So that was a tough part. But no, all kidding aside, shows are on YouTube. If you miss any of it, go there to get it. But we are going to have and we are having we'll have an awesome interview today. Obviously, yesterday was early signing day, as you all know. And it was very very awesome. And we are going to have a Sun Devil signee. Yes, they had a little challenges in that. I talked about it yesterday, but Kanyon Floyd the Punter out of Horizon High School. Yes, my high school alma mater. It's not a bummer that he's headed to my college too. So no, but he had a phenomenal obviously career at Horizon, and this kid can definitely crush the ball, to say the least. And it is going to be very awesome to catch up with them again. Coach Regal, obviously being a guy that has strong roots here and in charge of the special teams. We talked to him and the challenges. And when we had him on the show, again, you subscribe to YouTube, you can go back and check out that interview. But just again, knock on wood, unfortunately, the challenges that they had with special teams and punting due to injuries, mind you, not due to injuries. But this was, again, very, very this was a need, a huge need, to overstate the obvious, a huge need. And for a Husky team that was a 10-3 overall this year, they were 4-1 in region play. Yeah, it's glad that they got a kid that can boom the ball. You always hear coaches talking about flipping field position and what it means, if you're in a battle, if you're in a game that needs it, or, if your offense is unfortunately being a teeny bit slow. But everybody knows, and we'll talk about this with Kanyon, about how they you're not talking about a punter or kicker until they're not doing good, or when you need them, that's when you talk about them. But this kid he had 93 kickoffs this year for over 5,800 yards kicking off. He had a long of 71, and he had 65 touchbacks. Punting wise, he had 24 punts for over 1,000 yards, 1,092 yards. That's 45.5 per punt. You will take that as a coach. His long is 67. His long was 67 this past season, and had 9 inside the 20 this past season. And yeah, he comes in as a comes in as a 5-star punter, and Coach Dillingham actually had a press today. I'll talk a little bit about that later on too. But he just said, yeah, seeing this kid and seeing what he can do with the ball. I mean, even last year he had 63 kickoffs for over 3,400 yards, averaging 54.7. Actually had a long of 85. And punting wise, last year, I mean, he had 43 punts for 2,159 yards, average 50.2, and a punt of 80 last year as a junior, and 14 inside the 20. So this is very exciting. And again, people say, "Oh, special teams," but again, it was punting became a little bit of a challenge. I mean, we saw what Cam Scatterby did, obviously, and running the Hellcat offense that he ran. At times, he could pooch punt, the left-footed pooch punt, and it worked out well. But getting a guy with and again, it's always good maybe not to be traditional, but getting a guy that can go 45, 50 yards a punt, get that hang time, and just crush the ball. It is very good, and we'll be interested to hear his thoughts about obviously heading to ASU and getting to work with Coach Regal. So we will have Kanyon coming up in just a little bit. Also, we'll talk hoops, men's and women's hoops yesterday at the Jerry Colangelo Hall of Fame series. It was a very awesome tournament that they put on. Again, having it at the Footprint Center is cool. It's cool, but it's a great atmosphere. And the Lady Devils, they got the 80-76 victory. For the men, it was ugly against Northwestern, and it was tough and self-inflicted a little bit, yes, and Northwestern inflicting quite a bit of it, yes, and those two combining together, especially in a terrible first half. No bueno for the Devils, but hey, the good news is there's more to the season left. You're going into conference play. See how it goes. The women, like I said, got the 80-76 victory. Shout out to Jaden Simmons, got her 1,000th point. And a father who played football at ASU as well, too. But Jaden Simmons, again, just playing a lot of minutes, weathering the load. They bounce back. They get the 80-76 victory over Fresno State. So we'll get to all that here on Pitchfork Lunch. We're going to step aside, but when we get back, we'll have ASU's newest punter in a position, like I said, people always want to complain about kicking, act like they can do it. We're going to hear from a guy that knows it takes obviously a lot more to do it. He'll be headed to ASU. We'll step aside and be back right after this here on Pitchfork Lunch. All right, we are back here on Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Cartino at Diablo00. Yes, the ultimate Devils homer ever since I went there, even before I went there and graduated and stuff. But now, like I said, it is time. I am so stoked to be joined by a Husky, a Horizon Husky, my former high school, and headed to ASU to punt. Kanyon Floyd. Kanyon, man, thanks so much for taking the time to do this. I welcome you into one of the ultimate ASU homer shows in Pitchfork Lunch. It's been a brainchild of mine for a while, but hey, man, congrats on signing. Thanks for doing this. And how does it feel the day after finally getting done with the recruiting process and signing with the Devils?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's really nice to just be signed and done. Can focus on just working and getting better, ready for the season.
Yeah, I mean, and you, obviously, it's like I said, it's a great day having teammates. That when I played there, obviously, you see the signing, and it's gotten bigger and bigger. Let me ask you this before we get into the funness of punting, which, like I always say, people, unless everybody, as you know in any sport, right, Kenny? Because you played soccer and I did as well too. Everybody's an armchair coach. Everybody's an armchair GM and player. They can do everything right, but we know the challenges of punting. But let me ask you this: like, when you're looking at being recruited, no matter what position, but especially in football, now with the transfer portal, do you feel that the process, again, not that you went through it before, but just do you feel your process is different, or even amongst your teammates and high school players, you're looking at it like, okay, maybe I don't want to waste my time as much. I want to sign early because of maybe feeling if you don't, that some of those offers won't be there because of the transfer portal and how it works?
Yeah, well, the only other recruiting cycle I've seen besides mine is COVID, and that was really rough for those guys. They lost, no one had spots. It was really bad. But I just think now with the transfer portal, you never know if something's there, so you got to take it while it's there, before you know it's gone.
Yeah, no, and like I said, I think it's the NCAA, and again, believe me, we're not going to bore viewers with that conversation. For 100 years, it's been, they've always been more reactive than proactive, and coaches could always leave, but yet if a player transferred in any sport, and I've always said this, Kenny, and it cracks me up because people, yes, the campus should be a fit. What you want to major in and what you want to go into should be a fit. But anybody that's ever played sports knows you're going to play for a coach. You're going to play for a staff because that is what fits you. So when coaches leave, if players transferred, if they wanted to make a rule back then, and I always said this, I'll be interested to get your take on this. If they wanted to make a rule, 50, 40 years ago saying, okay, you can transfer, but you can't go with that coach. Fine. But players shouldn't have been held to a standard where, well, if we transfer it, now we have to sit for a year.
Yeah.
So, it's the NCAA. And again, they have a lot of good, they do, but also just being reactive. But let's get into it. A guy like Coach Regal, obviously he has high school roots here, coached very well at the college level, in charge of special teams. When he was down, with that school down south, as I say here, and then with Cal, being the head coach at Idaho State, but now coming back here and his process in recruiting you. He's a pretty fiery coach. People are like, oh, well, special teams, they don't have to be pumped. He's a fiery coach. What is it about Coach Regal and Coach Dillingham and what they're doing that you like that made ASU the perfect fit for you?
I just really like their attitudes towards the game. First off, with Coach Dillingham, he's young, energetic. He's really smart about football. And I'd say Regal he's really passionate about football. He gets fired up and he knows a lot about the game. He's really smart and he has a good scheme. And yeah, I just feel like he has good experience that will really help me.
Now, actually, I kind of want to sidetrack for a second. So obviously you had some teammates sign yesterday, and I know one of your teammates is actually the kid of a friend that I went to Horizon with. But Carter, he signed with Kansas. So now you guys are granted you don't have to worry about him hitting you, but you guys are going to be Big 12 foes. What was it like going through? With Carter, but what was it like going through the recruiting process with him? And now that he's headed to Kansas, what's that like for you guys?
Yeah, we've been to school since elementary school, maybe preschool. We've been to school with each other our entire lives, and ever since I committed to ASU and he got the offer, every single day I've been trying to get him to come over there. Now that he's signed, I've kind of let it back a little, but I've been trying so hard to get him to come to ASU.
Oh man, that's cool. Yeah, again, people don't really. Again, you see it in obviously high school, like you said. And I had friends that I played with, not even just football, but different sports. And then you see them going to a certain school, and it's like, oh man, come here. So I feel you on that. Okay, so with Coach Dillingham, like you said, and believe me, practices are energetic and fun. And I know obviously you tripped out. You got to see that. The intricacies of punting and kicking and the difference, because you see it. I mean, you and everybody's seen it, but at the NFL at the highest level, a kicker gets hurt and people are like, why don't they just go to the punter? You don't have to get too X's and O's crazy, but just give the people out there just a different mindset and the mentality between, punting a ball for 57 yards, aiming for an area, targeting an area and hitting it you want, and then the difference in just, kicking a 50-yard field goal.
Yeah. Well, I think that all kickers and punters should be able to do both, but it's definitely like a specialty between both of them. Like the leg swing on a field goal compared to a punt is way different. One of them's just going straight through the ball. The other's kind of like coming from an angle at it. Like it's pretty much as like different as you can get when kicking the ball. One of them's it's on the floor. The other one it's in your hand. You hit it with different parts of your feet. They're very different, and I understand why it looks like people would think, oh, you can just do both. It's the same thing. It's not, but I do think that everyone should know how to do both.
And I know you also played a little soccer as well, right? What position did you play?
I'm still playing soccer for the high school team, but I play forward.
Oh, nice. I was a center midfielder, so I made sure you guys got the ball where you wanted it.
Yeah.
Speaking of soccer, I mean, for years they always said, I mean, NFL teams went into the ranks of, you would see a soccer guy here or there, but the success this year, Kanyon, with Brandon Aubrey of the Cowboys. I mean, he obviously didn't play any college soccer. His story. I mean, I'm sure you've heard his story. Went to Notre Dame, took the untraditional route. Now is just crushing it in the NFL. Yeah, people can say, oh, I get they learn how to kick, but what from soccer, in your eyes, helped you become even a better kicker?
I think soccer just makes the transition from like kicking a ball to a football like really easy. It just feels natural to kick something if you've been playing soccer your whole life. It's just the muscle memory of kicking something really helps.
Yeah, no, I mean, and for years I used to say that, and people are like, oh, well, they should always go after goalies. They see that, how they can. I'm like, guys, there's 10 other people on the field that have really big feet too. It's just about control. I mean, obviously, you're not playing boom ball the whole game because you're never going to get anywhere. But so, okay, your time at Horizon. I mean, like I said, I was graduated from there a few minutes ago, but was on that 95 team that won the 94-95 school year, but that won the state championship. What are some things? I mean, when you look around, obviously the school's changed, but what's your time like there been for you? Not even just playing football, but what are some of the good memories? And do you actually have some favorite teachers? Because I know as high school kids, I'll save you that. As high school kids, we said we didn't like any of our teachers. They were all mean.
Yeah. The people there are awesome. Our senior class, I mean, this is about football, but we started off 0-7. We lost every game, and since then we've been getting closer and closer every year. And I think this is like everyone is friends in our class. Like we're just so close, and we can hang out, do whatever we want.
And for a punter, for obviously somebody that's getting recruited and kicking and punting and stuff like that, it's different. How do you feel? And I always love to hear coaches talk about it, and I've never asked, but how 7-on-7 has grown. Because when it's always been a big deal. And I mean, even like I said, playing, it's been a big deal, but I mean, now all the huge tournaments and it's not even 7-on-7 with your true high school team. I mean, some do, but a lot of these guys are playing on 7-on-7 all-star teams. How do you feel that's like helped grow the game, but also helped recruiting to get players recruited as well?
I like it, but I don't think that teams should be like recruiting solely based on that. There's no tackling, but we had a 7-on-7 tournament, and I think it's just good to help your team bond. I think you should do it with your high school team. I don't really know how I feel about making all-star teams. I haven't been to one of those. I haven't seen that, but I like the idea of it. It's extra practice in the spring.
Yeah, no, it is good. So now headed to ASU, what for the Pitchfork Lunch viewers out here, and I always say this, it's funny, ever since I started the show, because I had the first Sun Devil coach to join me was the first year the women's volleyball head coach. And he just happened to have obviously a very talented and good team, and he knows what he's doing, but he just happened to win Pac-12 Coach of the Year and the Southwest Region Coach of the Year. So I told him it's like 99.9999% his talent, their skill, and everything they know, and the other 0.0001% is the Pitchfork Lunch mojo. So we are sending that to you, of course, being a Devil. But what are you looking to major in? What do you want to do at ASU?
I'm majoring in finance.
Ah, very nice. And family background in it, or is it just kind of what you were drawn to?
No, my dad's a chiropractor and my mom's a physical therapist. They just talked to me about it, and it seems like something I could see myself doing.
Nice, nice. And you know, a lot of kids want to do what their parents want to do, but you seem to stay away from the medical side. Anything with kind of
Yeah.
medical and extra school, like I don't blame you on that. When you were being obviously being a local kid, ASU not being too far away, but what are some of the things on campus that you liked? I mean, just being there with the visit, obviously the football facility, the practice facility, but what are some of the things about campus that drew you to it even more?
Well, yeah, the football facilities are amazing, but the main thing for me is the weather. Like, I know it's hot in the summer, but like right now I'm outside. It's so nice out. It doesn't get better than this. That's probably my main thing.
You know, it's funny you said that. I've gotten a few messages because having some friends that are watching from different parts of the country and some cousins are like, wait, he's there with you. Why aren't you doing your show outside? Because they're in a little bit of colder weather and, you know, a little bit of snow. So you know, I know they say for baseball and softball, you know, year round it helps. And obviously, you know, basketball being an indoor sport, they're never really hampered by weather. But how much do you feel for you? It just, I mean, playing soccer, playing football, but it just helps you kind of grow and own your craft. Like you said, having this kind of climate to do it in.
Yeah, I mean, for kicking and punting, this is kick. It's hot, which I mean, I don't really know the science about it, but the ball goes farther, it goes higher. We're at pretty okay elevation, so that it just helps. The heat just really helps the farther, and it just makes everything easier.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, I mean, again, it's when you can get out and practice at any time of the day. And like you said, it's hot, but if you want to train yourself, you know, get outside when it's a little hotter and do it. But yeah, I mean, I did get to see a few of your punts the last 2 years. I will say that. I was a little jealous of the boom you had there. Who are, I mean, I mean, punting wise, are there any kind of punters that, I mean, growing up even younger that you kind of look to craft your punting after?
Um, I'm not really sure about that. I guess I kind of just want to take my own path on it. I guess I would want to make people say in the future, like, I want to punt like me.
Hey, well, like I said, I saw a few of your bombs, and I think that that there'll be people saying that. Look, hey, Kanyon man, I really appreciate you taking the time. Now wait, are you gonna enroll in spring?
No, I'm gonna finish high school.
Okay, very cool, very cool. No. And again, you should enjoy it. I just know it's become so much more of a thing. I mean, even when I was there and even seeing it before, there were quite a few that did, and I know a lot of kids like they sign early, they can graduate, they get on campus in spring, and it's like I'm here, I can play, I can go in spring ball. But no, you should enjoy it. You've worked hard, you've earned it. Enjoy the rest of the days at Horizon, and hopefully, I look forward to catching up with you as fall camp opens up. And like you said, it's scorching hot outside, and I get to see you out at practice.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Well, that was great. Kanyon Floyd, the Horizon punter. Huskies, yes, gotta love it. And he's headed to ASU. So again, he's got and he did the interview outside. I loved it. Just sat outside, hung out. It was absolutely perfect. And you can see the weather, and that's what the weather is. You know what? Maybe I will do a show outside, and then everybody else can message me and get extremely mad with me about that. But nonetheless, no, it was like I said, it's great to catch up on a finance major. Again, you know, smart kids, talked about it with his parents. But yeah, the campus is what I always say. Coaches, programs, yes, everybody wants to win. We know that. Like you're a competitor. If you're a competitor, you definitely want to win. But yeah, no, so excited to get to know him a little bit. And like I said, getting to go to not as many Horizon games as I would like, but getting to see him punt, you know, I mean, the few times he did, because Horizon again definitely played very well. That's one of the things you want to have that weapon that in your arsenal. But of course, offensively, you never really want to have to totally use it. So, yeah, I'm going to step aside again. When we get back, we'll talk hoops, and we will talk, men's and women's hoops from yesterday out at the Footprint Center, the Jerry Colangelo Hall of Fame series. Again, an awesome event. And it was capped off. The nightcap was Arizona and Alabama. Yes, I did say that. They are ranked number 3 in the country. So I will not say that, to add more fuel to them. But we'll hear from but yeah, they played Alabama. Obviously, the men, ASU, the Sun Devil men, played Northwestern and had a very tough first half. A very, 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 very tough first half. But yeah, I just wanted to shout out Natasha Adair and the women's hoops program as they beat Fresno State 80-76, which was phenomenal. Again, a little 2-game losing streak, but get back in the win column right before break. You definitely can't complain about that. And Jaden Simmons, again, forks up to her. Pitchfork Lunch Love looking, again, going to work with getting her on the show as well. Her dad, Jason, who is a coach with the Raiders, also played at ASU, played football. Yeah, just a minute ago. So I look forward to having her on. Again, more Sun Devils. But again, Kanyon Floyd there, soon to be a Husky alum and Sun Devil punter. And again, you heard him saying it. It is a different mindset. I ask a question. It's not about asking questions that are easy to know the answer to, but when you're trying it again, yes, kicking a soccer ball definitely does help. Granted, they're different shapes, but what did he say right there? Just the feel of, kicking a ball. And yeah, you have to adjust a little bit, punting and kicking different parts of the feet that you're hitting it with. Drops important, everything. So very much look forward to having Kanyon on campus and talking to him. If you missed any of it, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, go to my channel. It's at search Michael Carrington, but it's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 on YouTube. Subscribe. All the interviews are there, and you can be in the know. And we look to have reaching out to a few more guys coming in playing different positions as they get here. And even after the new year, they're on campus for spring ball. So again, it'll be very exciting to get to know more. But yeah, anything to obviously shout out a fellow Husky alum and as he's headed there. But yeah, as he's headed to ASU. So we'll step aside. We'll talk some men's and women's hoops after this. Hear from Coach Hurley. Hear from Frankie Collins. Man, it was tough. But we'll attack that on the other side here on Pitchfork Lunch. right, we are back here on Pitchfork Lunch. I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00. On the good old Twitter is where you can find me. Oh, on X, dang, the artist formerly known as Twitter is where you can find me. And just definitely want to shout out Kanyon Floyd again for jumping on. Soon to be Horizon Husky alum for football, signed with the Sun Devils. So again, we got to meet the new punter. The new punter addition to the Sun Devil team, and playing soccer for the Huskies right now as well. So hopefully I'll get a chance, obviously, to get out there and see him play and chat with him a little bit more. But so awesome to have him on the show. So again, if you missed it, subscribe to the YouTube channel at MVC005 on YouTube. M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005. Subscribe. Nonetheless, we move on. And yesterday, it was a it was a tough one. The Devils lost men's hoops. They took on Northwestern. And let me just say this, it was a tough game. It was a tough first half. The second half looked better, but Northwestern had a big lead, and it was just tough to overcome. It was just very, very tough to overcome. And they only scored 13 points in the first half. It was not pretty, to say the least. And it was 65-46 was the final. So, a 33-point second half, pretty good. If you had that in the first half, you're only down 3 points at half, not 23 points at half. It was 36-13 at half. And Boo Buie, I did get his name right yesterday. Boo Buie, who I said, the other day, and yesterday too, said, again, I had not having seen Northwestern play. I knew they beat Purdue when they were number one, a team that Arizona turned around when they were number one and Purdue was number 3, had that loss against us a few days ago, but they rebounded and beat Alabama. I'll get to that in a minute. But the Boo Buie in the Jerry Colangelo Hall of Fame series, again, just very awesome to have that here. He had 22 points. He was 8 for 15 from the field. He shot 50% from behind the arc and 4 for 8. And he was 2 for 2 from the line, perfect from the line. A team that, only had 9 free throw shots, but they were 4 for 9. So they were 44.4% for the game. Not great, but they didn't need to be from there, which you want to be. And again, as a coach is never going to be, satisfied. And they're going to talk about that. Northwestern improved to 9-0 or 9-2 overall. They're still 1-0 in Big Ten play, like I said, with that win they had over Purdue. ASU falls to 6-5 now. All 5 of their wins. The good news is all 5 of their wins at home. The bad news is, 5 of 6 of their wins are at home. They're 1 in on neutral site games. They're 2-2 now. No, that can't be right. It's neutral. So they're 6-5 overall. They're 5-0. Oh, they're 0-1 away and 1-4. Yeah, so they lost their only away game, which was at USD, and they are 1-4 on a neutral site. So the good news is no more neutral site games. And they have a good amount of home games. The bad news is they're going to have away games, and you can't start the game like they did. And yes, I'm not going to talk out of both sides of my mouth. What did I just say last week? The other day, there's somebody across the court, across the field from you, whatever, trying to get you in bad matchups to again, the Mike Tyson saying it for boxing. Yes, it's 1,000,000% perfect. For other sports, it's like about 100,000% perfect. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Then what's your plan? And the connection to that is the connection to that is how are you going to adjust? If you're getting into kind of a rut, how do you adjust to get out of it? Outside of calling, a timeout, try to do different things. How can you adjust? Yes. Do wide open shots need to go down at this level? You would think, well, no, 100% yes, but you would think they would be more. And in the first half, like I said, for a team, ASU in the first half scored 13 points. They were 5 for 26 from the field overall, 2 for 13 from three. And that just goes to my point to at some point, yes, we all know you can hit them, but even from the tiniest of levels of hoops, I've always heard coaches say, see the ball go through the hoop, get on in close, get inside the 3-point line, maybe a free throw line jumper. Maybe you drive to the rim, you get there, you get the easy layup, see the ball go through the hoop. 2 for 13 from three in the first. I mean, that's just, and again, you get down and the thought is, okay, if we hit a few of these, we're right back in the game. Well, if you miss quite a few of them, yes, I know Captain Obvious coaching again, but it's about, I mean, and Coach really talked about that earlier about, getting good shots within the flow of the offense and the game, quality shots, moving the ball. They have good movement. They're moving the ball, but sometimes guys are and taking shots, you're taking threes because you want to get back in it, but at the same time, can you really get back in it if you're missing from there? And if the other team is just going down and hitting twos, then I mean, they were 2 for 13 in the first half. They hit 3 threes all game. They were 3 for 18, right? So say at some point after the first half, you're 2 for 13. So say you're like, all right. You're like, we got to get the ball to the hoop. Let's get down low. Let's play a little bit down low. I'm not saying change. It's not about changing style of play, forcing players not to do what they're comfortable with, but get the ball down low. Get downhill. Go to the hoop. Draw some fouls. Now, granted, they were 11 for 18 from the free throw line, so they shot 61.1%, which is under their 62.2% for the year. At the free throw line, which again is fun. Now look, they were 1 for 5 in the first half, but the first half killed them. They were 20%. But in the second half, I will say this: 10 for 13, that is 77%, 76.92%, but 77%. So I like what I saw from there in the second half. But 3 for 18 from 3, 16%. Like if you keep chucking them and keep missing, that is just formula to you are going to get boat raced out of a lot of games. Last night's leading scorer, Frankie Collins, had 10 points. He had 10 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals. So, I mean, you'll take that. Now, he was 0 for 1 from the free throw line, 0 for 2 from 3, 5 for 13 from the field, but he led ASU with 10 points. And then there was 3 players that had 7 points, Jemiah Neal, Bryant Salabange, and Akeel Watson off the bench. And he sparked some energy. He was 3 for 4, got some easy hoops down low. He was 1 for 1 from the free throw line. And that is the energy off the bench I love seeing in the second half. Akeel Watson, again, it looked good. And he did have 1 assist, no rebounds. He did play 16 minutes. This young man off the bench, and again, need to see more of it. And for Jose Perez, I mean, he had 6 points. He also had 6 rebounds, crashing the boards, 2 assists. He did have a turnover and a steal, but his game, I mean, getting down low, let the ball move. No, don't just stall the offense and have it stop. The old And for the younger kids, I'll use the Carmelo Anthony. People say, oh, he just stops the offense. The ball goes to him, or I never saw James Harden, the whole dribble, but the offense stops and it doesn't move. Like, I'm not saying you have to sit there and take 8, 9, 10 dribbles and you're backing somebody down, just kind of stay there, but back them down, get them to double team you, put shots up. He has that in his game, and we've seen it. Getting 6 boards, all his boards defensive. I mean, he was, he's been shooting well from the free. He was 6 for 8 last night. I mean, 75%. Adam Miller, nice to see him. Obviously, in the lineup. He was 3 for 4 from the line, 75%. So again, 11 for 18. But you had Collins that was 0 for 1. Celebonge still struggling. He was 1 for 4. Akil Watson was 1 for 1. But yeah, I mean, 7 missed free throws. And I mean, 7 more points just makes it, 65 to 53, makes it a little more respectable. Like that is and Chris Cartman did educate me. So shout out to Chris Cartman. Hopefully you can get him on. I'm going to aim to get him on next week. I keep thinking Monday, I'll remind everybody, but won't have a show Monday, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, this was like the 4th worst. It was the 4th worst first half by ASU in their history, and I'm like, wow, 13 points is 4th worst. That's, but yeah, I mean, do you need that spark off the bench? Yes. Would it be great to get Sean Phillips back? Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we you need him and hopefully the break. He was on the court yesterday. He was with the team, obviously with the team, but he was on the court, saw him dribbling around, he took some, set shots. So yes, doing that is a whole lot different than running, planning, moving. I get it. 150 million %. I mean, Northwestern out rebounded ASU by 10, 41 to 31. Like it's that's tough to do. And Ty Berry for them, I mean, he had 10. He had 12 points, 10 boards. Berry, who was, again, shot 50% from the, he was 4 for 8. He was 3 for 5. He's got 60% from behind the 3-point line, 1 for 2 from the free throw line, but 12 points. But like I said, Boo Buie led them with 22 points, 7 boards, 3 assists. And when they needed a hoop, they went to him. And this young man, I mean, you can see why. You can definitely see why. As he played 36 minutes. Brooks Barnheiser, who was their second leading scorer, and he was their second leading scorer last night. He had 16 points, 9 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals. Ty Berry also 12 points. Like I said, 12 points, 10 boards, 1 assist, 2 steals. So it was tough. That first half was tough. In the second half, you're better, but we saw it got better for ASU, but you're down. I mean, first half, like I said, you shoot 19, you shoot under 20%. You're 19% from the field, right? 15% from 3, 20% from the free throw line. Exactly. Sun Devil Nation. Like I said, I do see things during the show through a maroon and gold shaded glasses and a tint, but that's just atrocious. Like at this level, that is atrocious. But in the second half, better. I mean, they shot 44% from the field. You'll definitely take that, getting up closer to 50. 20%. I mean, they improved, but it's terrible. 20% from 3. But then, like I said, 76.9%, 77% from the free throw line. So, I mean, that second half free throw jump helped them go from 20% to 61%. So, yes, you like to see the improvement there, but that's what the free throw shooting in general needs to be 75, 77%. And I'll say it. I know I've said it once and I've said it 20 million times, but that's just how you're going to win. I mean, how you're going to have it. That's how you're going to give yourself a chance to win. people are going to be less prone to foul you if you're, 75, but 85%. Like at home, hit your free throws. But yeah, no, for Frankie Collins, again, like I said, 10 points, 3 boards. Jemiah Neal, 7 points, 4 boards. Jose Perez, 6.6 boards. Salabonge had 7 points and 7 boards. Akil Watson, like I said, he off the bench, 7 points, but 3 for 4 from the field, 1 for 1 from the line. The energy, you need to grow. You need to be able to do what coach needs him to do in the offense, but still, it looks like hopefully we can see Akil Watson more. I know he's one that got punched in the face in the BYU game in Vegas on Thanksgiving. Not a very festive thing from BYU, but I digress. So yeah, I mean that was the men's game. Look, it was tough, and then have a little bit. We're gonna hear a little bit from Bobby Hurley and Frankie Collins from last night, real quick. I want to get to a little bit of what they said. As they, there we are. So without further ado, here is Coach Hurley and Frankie Collins after the game.
This game, just the physicality of the game, I think we forced them to miss shots early in the game, but we couldn't put the ball in the basket. Just really inefficient on offense. So we got to go to back to the drawing board and see what we could do to change that type of effort. It just wasn't great. But it starts with the coaches making sure that the guys are armed with everything that they need to be ready to play against a really good team. And Northwestern is physical, tough, very disciplined, got great guard play, so they're a good team. But we were terrible in the first half, especially.
Go past the mic.
Yeah.
Bobby Hunter, Devil's Digest. I know that you're disappointed in the game in a vacuum, but is it even more disappointing after having the loss you had against TCU, not to see the team bounce back? Is that even more disappointing than the loss itself?
I mean, you have to respond. We're not as tough as we need to be right now. We're kind of melting out there, and as teams are coming at us, we don't have a response. We're not making shots. We're missing free throws. We're kind of across the board. It was I think we were tied with one of the Northwestern players at halftime, and that's how bad we were, at that end of the floor. So, we got to look at it and evaluate it and see what changes we need to make and how we need to play at that end of the floor, just to give ourselves a better chance to stay in the game. It was crazy that Adam, was shooting an open shot to cut it to 14, just as bad as we were. I was shocked at that. But yeah, we have to do better than that.
Michelle?
Frankie, can you talk about how difficult it is when things are going wrong as a point guard, trying to motivate the team and just change the narrative?
Yeah, but first I would say it's not the coach's fault. As players, we got to go out there and we got to perform. They give us a great game plan every game before the game, and we just got to execute it. Can you please ask your question again?
Ask your question.
No, can you ask the question again? I'm sorry. I just had to.
Okay. How hard is it to motivate the team and try and keep the spirits up when it seems like everything's going wrong and against you?
I mean, it gets difficult sometimes because as a team right now, mentally we're soft. So we go out there and sometimes we don't fight back when people punch us in the mouth. So sometimes it's hard to give us that extra motivation, but sometimes it's not. It all depends on how we respond.
Questions the mic. Chris up there.
Frankie, just to follow up on that, what is it about this team that makes you guys feel like you're mentally soft right now?
It's just when we face adversity, you see how sometimes we get punched in the mouth, we don't fight back. I think we gotta go out there and just continue to play hard no matter if shots are falling or not. I mean, I've said that plenty of times in press conferences, we gotta play hard. That's the only way our offense is gonna translate. So if we wanna make shots, we gotta play in transition. If we can't get stops, we can't do that.
Right, Bobby, what's your sense on that? And is this a surprising thing to see happen?
I just think, I've used the word trust a lot, talk about trust, unity, the offensive end, I feel like, there's the connectivity level just isn't there for whatever reason, and there isn't joy in someone else's success the way it needs to be, and this is a team sport, and it's hard enough to beat your opponent if you're, if you're not happy for your teammate, and if your teammate doesn't know if the guy standing next to him has his back, then it's a lonely feeling out there. So I think some of it is that, especially at the offensive end of the floor.
You tend to give a lot of freedom to your guys. Do you feel like they're settling in too much?
We had some set plays we wanted to run. We try to want to take advantage of Frankie today and our guards. If they could get downhill, I thought we had an edge there to try and get to the paint. Frankie was able to successfully do that. It's not my nature to put a stranglehold on the offense and have us run a set play every possession. I have to trust the judgment of our players, especially when you're facing a team like Northwestern. If they get their defense set consistently, it's going to be tough to defeat a team like that. So I want to give the guys some freedom, but we were. I don't think it was as much that we just. If you review some of the shots, I think there were some that were wide open shots that just were not made. So it's just, if you're playing in this level in a doubleheader like this tonight, and you had a wide open shot and couldn't make it, then that's not a good sign, because I don't think there's going to be a lot of wide open shots in the next game. And if they are, I think most of them are going to go in the basket. So I think it comes down to that too, just everybody kind of looking in the mirror and seeing what they need to do to step up.
One more? Nick?
Coach, from a defensive standpoint, I know you're saying too that, was there some things in the game that you feel that the communication on the court, between the guys was a little bit off? Because it just seemed like that stretch there kind of late in the first half, it just seemed like offensively they were pretty much moving around doing what they wanted to do.
I think it touched on just what Frankie was saying. I think you could just almost take exactly what he said. We allowed our ineffectiveness on offense to carry over into how we were defending, and multiple efforts and all the things you need to do to get stops. I think summed it up perfectly. End of the half where we're just slapping at the ball like on a rebound, and then we just slap it to them, and then they go and score right at the end of the half. And that was symbolic just of the whole half. I'll say this though, I'm a fighter, and I'll keep pushing. And Coach Kimbrough and I talked about this. We worked very hard to make this an NCAA tournament program, and we did that last year. And it was a really fun team to watch. And we're not having a great season right now, but we're going to fight, for the program and do what we have to do to change this and see who wants to move forward with us and be about the right things, and who doesn't. And we'll find out a lot the next couple of weeks. But very highly disappointed with where things have gone from this time last year to where we are right now. Thank you.
Thanks, gang.
And there was Coach Hurley and Frankie Collins, and I said it. You can feel the and people can say, "Oh, of course, what's he going to say?" He's not going to say that. Look, being around Coach Hurley, no, not BFS, but he's from the great state of New Jersey as well. Being around Coach Hurley, like it's things will get fixed, things will get looked at, things will get. The mirror check, and he'll be the first to, like you said, start with him. But Frankie Collins, you can see that from him there, for the frustration from him too. Yeah, nobody likes losing. Yeah, you're 6-5, and you had a chance in conference play. To be 8-3, if they're coming out of this at 8-3, because there's 2 games that I feel they definitely, the USD game, they definitely should have won. And well, not BYU. And I, as crazy as it sounds, with how they started, how they were playing, and then the adjustments would happen. But TCU, I don't think TCU is 20 points better than this team. But like Coach said, if you continue to miss open shots, if you continue to, like I said, not look in the mirror, but the passion and the frustration of where they're at, but the passion to get better and the drive, I definitely, Sun Devil Nation, do not doubt. And I think a few days off will be good for this team. And their next game, they have Stanford on the road, December 29th, when hockey's on in New York. Men's hoops is in Palo Alto, and they were taking on Stanford. And then on New Year's Eve, like I said, they have Cal. So look, you're gonna start right there. And then when you look at where Pac-12 teams are as of right now, I mean, Arizona's 9-1, right? Utah 9-2, Colorado 8-2, Washington State 8-2, Oregon State, and Washington 7-3, Stanford 5-4, ASU, USC are 6-5, UCLA is 5-5, and Cal, the only struggling team out of conference, they're 4-7. Yeah. So I mean, you see that logjam from Washington on up to Arizona. Washington, like I said, Oregon State, Oregon 7-3, Washington State, Colorado 8-2, Utah 9-2, and Arizona 9-1. And Arizona, the only ranked team in the top 25. Did I get that right? In the AP top 25. As they're number 3. Arizona's number 3. And then after beating Alabama, they were down 9-0 to start that game. And then they had a lead by halftime. I mean, Alabama did battle back, but Arizona just showed, I mean, their shooting, the way they can switch on the ball, their physicality, what Tommy Lloyd has brought in, Umar Ballo coming back, that is huge. But just, again, the way they move the ball, and guys taking it to the rim, but, creating open shots. Yeah, that team down south is scary. And that's why they are number 3. Oh, sorry. In the AP poll, Arizona's actually number 4. Yeah, Arizona's 4, and yeah, Colorado and Utah have received votes, but that's it. Arizona, the only Pac-12 team. So, and as challenging as the coaches are saying the conference is going to be, what they've done at a conference, yes, not every game is a big game. I get it. Teams have played complete cream puffs because they don't have the depth that they do. But anyway, you know how I feel. It's a conversation for another day. But yeah, Arizona, the only Pac-12 team ranked. I see that changing soon. Because I do think Colorado, Utah definitely get there. It would actually help ASU if USD got there too. So, yeah, that's that. On the women's side, guys, this is absolutely awesome. Again, 80-76. The women get the victory over Fresno State. Yesterday, again, while doing the show, I know if I seem spaced on a few things, it's because I was actually looking at the game as well, too, because it was going on at the same time. And And yeah, but they get the 80-76 victory over Fresno State. And a really cool thing to show, by the way. Let's see. A very cool thing to show. And I'll show it in a second, dealing with Jaden Simmons. But yeah, the Devils, Mia Jacobs had 31 points, though, for Fresno State. Like, she crushed it yesterday, did Mia Jacobs. And she was 12 for 20 overall from the field. Pretty good day, one would say, right? 60% from the field. She was 7 of 11. playing a little dice. 7 for 11 from 3. Hit 7-3. 31 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. Like, have a day, Mia Jacobs. And the Devils held that off. They went 80-76. Again, much more consistent quarters. They scored 19 in the first, 20 in the second, 19 in the third, and then 22 in the fourth. And they outscored Fresno State in three of the 4 quarters, because it was 19-18 after 1. It was 39-33 at halftime. And then it was 58 to no. Oh, it was 58-50, sorry, at the end of 3. But Fresno State did score 26 in the fourth, but AC scored 22. So they built up enough of a lead, won by 4. They go to 8-4. And Khadijah Toure had 22 points off the bench. Jalen Brown had 20. Jaden Simmons had 10, y'all. And with her having 10, a very cool thing, by the way, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. Oh, I wanted to show you. And for some reason, I can't. And I do not know as to why. That is well, she scored over 1,000 points. I'll figure out how to show it tomorrow. But she has hit the 1,000-point club for the Sun Devils, which is very, very awesome. So again, pitchfork lunch, mojo, love, respect to Jaden Simmons, who's again father Jason did play football. But yeah, She scored, is in the 1,000-point club, having the 10 points yesterday. They get the 80-76 victory. Like I said, very, very huge, and they improved to 8-4. Do the Lady Devils, and loving every second of that. As but yeah, Khadija Toure, just a hell of a game, and 80-76. Their next game, they actually have one more non-conference, and that is December 30th on Saturday. They have Santa Clara, December 30th at Desert Financial at 1 p.m. So it's a little early. Oh, that's a new ASU student's birthday. My sister Lisa. Yeah, she finally came to the smart side and is, enrolled at ASU. I love my sister. But yeah, so they have Fresno State. But yeah, nonetheless, I mean, like I said, it was just awesome. Jaylen Brown had 20. Like I said, Triana Crisp had 14. Both Jalen Thompson and Jaden Simmons, 10 each, and then 22 points off the bench, like I said, for Khadija Toure, who was 10 for 13 from the field, 2 for 3 from the free throw line. She had 9 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal. Yeah, have yourself a night, Khadija. That was phenomenal. And yeah, playing at the Footprint Center. Again, obviously the court where the Mercury and Suns play. The Arizona women did fall to Gonzaga. That was again, it's kind of Gonzaga had control. It was a teeny bit back and forth. But Adia Barnes had a little bit to say about that after the game. It was tough, to say the least. But yeah, Gonzaga did beat the Arizona women, and then Alabama did beat or Arizona was down 9-0 at half or to start the first half, and then the I want to say that Arizona was up by, what was it again, one at the half. Yeah, they were down 9-0 and then outscored Alabama the rest of the first half, 41-31, and had a 1-point lead at half, and then outscored them 46-34 in the second half. Just real quick, because they were part of the Colangelo Hall of Fame series, real quick. 3 guys with 16 points, or 3 with 16, 1 with 15, but you had 5 in double figures. You had all 5 starters in double figures. But Umar Ballo with 16 and Pele Larson with 16 led the way in scoring for the Devils. Ballo had 16 points, 12 boards, 1 block. Larson had 16 points, 6 boards, 2 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. And then Kylan Boswell had a heck of a game as well. He had 15 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 steals. Did have 4 turnovers. Alabama's defense, again, was there, but Arizona just, physical. And was it Nate Oates, the head coach, said it after the game. He goes, they're not just one of the best team in the Pac-12. They're one of the, he goes, we've seen what they've done. They're one of the best teams in the country. And when they get flowing and, again, get into transition, get to the open court, attack the rim, defensively, they can switch. You want to, again, you want to play physically. You don't want to change what you do, go over physical and out of control. think it was hard for the at some points of the game to get into a rhythm just because of the terrible. I mean, and look, I'm not saying this as a fan, as a fanatic that thinks every foul call against their team is bad, but I have no dog in that fight. And I'm telling you right now, there was atrocious, and it went both ways at least, atrocious calls, nonetheless. But yeah, Boswell had 15, and then the other guard, Caleb Love, he had 13 points, 7 boards. And Keyshawn Johnson, who, again, in that complimentary role, I mean, he looks complimentary in their offense because, yes, he obviously can do it, but he had 11 points, 6 boards, 2 assists, and a steal. So, like, it's – yeah, it is a a tough team to deal with. And yes, we end that. But the women, I want to end Pitchfork Lunch on a obviously great thing. But the women's team, again, winning 80-76 over Fresno State. Because, yeah, Mia Jacobs, like I said, had 31. And then her front court partner, Sydney Deathman, who I had mentioned the other day, also, she had 21 points. 21 points and 10 boards. 2 assists, 2 block shots. I mean, like, yeah, again, you got one at 31, one at 21, and you're thinking, okay, ASU has a 22-point scorer in Teray off the bench, and then Jalen Brown had another solid game. I mean, she played every minute of the game, but had 20 points, 7 boards. So it's like, yeah, I mean, and you look at the rebounding battle. I mean, they lost the rebounding battle by 10, 41-31. But the turnover battle, Fresno State had 16, and the coaches talked about it. ASU just had 5 throughout, and 5. I mean, that's one, 40 minutes. Obviously, one every 8 minutes. So, look, loving what this team is doing. Again, they have a little bit of a break, too. The 30th, they will take on Santa Clara at 1 p.m. Get on out there, support them. It's charging into conference play, man. You want to make a tournament run, and you've done it. You've had a strong. You built a good base at a conference. Now you need to get it going forward. So we'll have more. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here again. Thank you so much again for chilling out with me here on Pitchfork Lunch. As want to give a big shout out again to. Recently signed yesterday with the Sun Devils. You know it. Horizon punter Kanyon Floyd, also soccer player as well. But Kanyon Floyd playing for ASU. Got to know the punter a little bit. Going to be a finance major. And, a little intricacies of kicking. Well, I'm on more to drop a few more. He said he wants people to say, hey, I want to punt like him. And, again, not an egotistical way. You got to go see the context of it when you go back and watch the interview. You can again, always live here on X, artist formerly known as Twitter. At Diablo00 is where you can find me, find the show, hit me up, send some questions, thoughts, whatever, a little banter. Like I said, I know it's not all rainbows and unicorns. Got to call something terrible like ASU's first half. I can call it terrible. But yeah, so Kanyon Floyd, big shout out to him. So glad he jumped on. And then I'll be back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. And we'll see who's coming on tomorrow. Just have to jump on in to find out. But I will talk at you tomorrow, and have a great rest of your Thursday. And Sun Devil Nation, you know it. As always, forks up.
Cherry's three. Johnny Walker. National against Dribble. His shot. They score. They tie the game up 2-2. He drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse. Wow. 5 seconds to go.